to be here. I would like to say thank you to organizers. They're doing a really great job, and specifically because they are building a bridge between Ukraine and Georgia. I think these days Georgia and Ukraine have a lot in common. We share common values. We both have similar attitudes to democracy, to technology, and we even have some politicians going back and forth, right? So Ukraine is the country that had several revolutions recently. We had recent revolution in 2014, which made us become a new country. A lot of new people came into the government. A lot of new things happened, and open data reform is one of them. So I would like to tell you a story how all of this happened and what are the results and maybe some lessons learned that you could take from. According to the Kyiv Economic School, the Ukrainian economy now benefits in the amount of $700 million because of open data. This is the cost of money that were saved because of better decision making. This is also the amount of money that were attracted by open data startups. And the significant role here is being played by public procurement that became transparent and fully digital. So there is a story behind that. And the story goes beyond, up to the 2012. So basically, we as an organization, Social Boost, started to do hackathons. I was working in the United States, and basically I came back to Ukraine after my contract was over, and that was this summer. We gathered a group of friends and thought, why shouldn't we do some hackathons that will actually help Ukrainian coders do stuff here in Ukraine? Not to do IT outsourcing for abroad, not to do startups that they will take to Silicon Valley in 3 months, but here. Our people need services, our businesses need services. Our government is not digitalized at all. So basically, we started to do some stuff with a group of friends. And we did the first open data hackathon when we realized that coders need a lot of data and that they cannot do anything for our country because everything about roads, hospitals, schools, energy, infrastructure, actually everything is owned by the government, and it's closed, it's not digital, it's on the paper, and it doesn't work like that. So we did the first hackathon where we basically found lots of data, like 100 data sets from our friends in the government, from our friends who had something at their computer, basically 100 data sets. And we built the portal, which is today data.gov.ua, that was produced by our organization. We transferred it to the government for free, and it was produced in a year or so. So we used this portal as a demo machine, and we invited coders to do some stuff based on the data sets. And this gave a huge push to open data reform. So we had a revolution. We continued to do hackathons. I think we did around 20 of them at the national level, and we always were trying to involve government institutions, National Agency for Energy, Ministry of Infrastructure, National Healthcare Office, and many others. And basically, in about a year or so, we had a group of around 2,000 IT volunteers who were around the country, and they already started to use the portal, even before it was official. And basically, because the reform was going on, we somehow used this group of coders and used the portal to serve as an example to the government that basically led to the new legislation, the open data policy. Together with UNDP, with the Soros Fund, which is more known as International Renaissance Foundation, with the National E-Governance Agency, all together we put together the legislation for open data. And that was basically a policy paper that included around 300 data sets, and last year it was modified to include around 600 registries. And the national portal today, because of the efforts of the National E-Governance Agency, has over 50,000 data sets, and the APIs are being used, and startups are being produced based on this data. But when we were doing all of this, we had to help the government a lot, and I myself had to work for the government for about a year as an advisor to the Prime Minister. So I was spending literally 8 hours a day in the Cabinet of Ministers and 8 hours a day in our office. That was a crazy year, but today we have some results of this work. And we decided to start Open Data Incubator, which was titled 1991. So we believe that Ukrainian IT people can shape the country, that they have a very sufficient input in Ukrainian economy, in monetizing data, in helping Ukrainian citizens and the Ukrainian government and Ukrainian businesses. So 1991 is the year of independence, of course, and the collapse of the Soviet Union. So we decided to do this. We partnered with Microsoft. They provided us with a huge office for free. We found the grant from the Western NAS Fund. That was a small grant of around $50,000. And we could scale it up to the big project now. Today we are 25 people. After 2 years of our existence, we helped 140 startups to be launched. And those startups together raised around $1 million right after the program. So we don't count second and third and some other rounds that they raised because maybe somebody else has influenced their life, not us. But because some of them are pulling together $500,000 grant or maybe 1.3 million investment, but this is second or third round. This is something that we help them to pull together right after the program. So today we have the incubator, which is doing a lot of different programs. Some of them are specifically focused on open data. Others are using some corporate data. There are some. There is a very separate game with legal tech and legal data, and it's becoming a new separate industry these days. And also there is a lot of stuff to do with state-owned enterprises, and I would like to put some shade of light and go into details. So last year and this year we had the biggest national open data contest, which is called Open Data Challenge. It's been sponsored by USAID and UK Aid, together with Eurasia Foundations and many other partners in Ukraine. This is the biggest contest. It has had the prize fund of $100 this year, and it was the big machine for 5 months working with startups. We have done mentorship sessions, tete-a-tete, lectures, pilot testing with ministries, with government agencies, with some other pilot clients, and it produces probably 20 startups every year. We also started to work with state-owned companies. You know that this is a big pain of post-Soviet region. We have this legacy from Soviet Union, and there are a lot of state-owned companies. Ukraine is the big champion in this. We have most of them in the region. We have around 3,500 state-owned companies, and all of them are monopolies. Airports, railroads, seaports, energy companies, all of them are closed, but still they declare that they are public companies, right? So we try to find the perfect language between startups and state-owned companies and help them to open their corporate data, share it with startups, and basically help them to find public-private partnerships or some other source of monetization together. So right now we're working with the Ukrainian railroads, which is the pilot project, and there are 10 startups that are being incubated right now. This is the big game. Also, we try to work with corporations. Corporations is the next big thing after open government data, because corporations have lots of stuff, and they have much more refined data infrastructure. They have much more refined policies. They care about the quality of their data and how they store it and how they collect it, because their business depends on this. And they're happy to share this data if your startup offers something interesting to their business. So we had a really interesting cooperation with OTP Bank. This is Hungarian bank. Also, we worked with MasterCard to help them to start monetizing their APIs with fintech startups. And this is basically something that helps us to push things through. So some startups, just to give you an idea, that came through the incubation. This is Court on the Palm, basically legal tech startup, connects to all kinds of trial court information and trial court decisions, and helps you to do the navigation, search, and basically some inquiries. They raised some funds this year, and also they had more in smaller grants last year. Donor UA, which is social entrepreneurship program, it is about putting together the databases of blood centers and basically helping people to find the blood when you need it and where you need it. AgriEye, basically Ministry of Agriculture of Ukraine, does produce a lot of information about chemical ingredients of the soil, if there are any pesticides or not, if the soil is exhausted or not. And basically these guys decided to put together this information and also add some drones there, because you can get the information about chemicals, and then you can raise a drone and basically find out what kind of temperature and humidity of the soil is. And PatentBot is basically one of our recent alumni. They are playing with patents, and they help you to register your patent in minutes through the bot. And now they are going international. They raised some funds, and all of this happened because of this incubation program. Also, UseCore is something that helps you to do the due diligence of your partners, and helps the bank to understand if they want to provide you with a loan or not. Also, Ukraine had a very interesting achievements in the open data field because of projects that are helping to push the government and open more and more data. And this is, these are international ratings that Ukraine got some decent places in, where we were absolutely not rated at all. And this all happened because Ukraine has great numbers in terms of IT professionals. There are so many of them. They are high quality. They are all understand how to put stuff together. And challenges that we helped the government to solve. Quality data, all these PDFs, you know, non-machine readable, and we are still working on this and trying to fight. And there are a lot of Ukrainian colleagues here who are also in this business and helping the government to make that data more quality. Government involvement, everybody wants to understand their incentives, and we are helping each minister, each deputy minister understand why they should be involved. Is it publicity? Is it the new talent? Is it new PR? Is it new ratings? Is it accomplishment of some ministerial programs? Open data awareness, everyone who works in open data does that in Ukraine. We're trying to bring journalists on our side, and we never pay for publications, and journalists really pay a lot of attention to open data projects. So, and all the big data contracts, we found out that Ukrainian ministries has put together a lot of contracts with big corporations, and they already sell some data, so it's really hard to open this type of information, which is extremely valuable. And state-owned companies, so basically this is the next big pie, the next big thing, and it seems like we're helping them to understand how they can work with startups these days. We started a small home for open data startups, and it's called Civic Tech Center, and it's a model where Basically, there is a co-working space, an event zone, and the acceleration programs, everything under one roof. We are happy to share how we did that, all the methodologies, and basically everything that is related to how to organize this in your city. If you need any consultation on that, we are happy to help. And basically, I'm happy to answer any questions in the corridors today. This is a bit of our story and how we made all of this happen. Thank you so much.